Right.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty big zone. And I think you're going to have something like, and I forget the exact number of residents, but it's somewhere around 12,000 or so
Hmm.
that'll be in your zone now. So
Yes.
looking at your zone, what are some of the things in zone five that still give you some concern?
Definitely growing pains. So we're having some growing pains. And then we're having some issues where zone five is a homeowners zone. So there's not a lot of area to put actual businesses here in zone five.
Mm,
With the growth, hopefully that will change. There will be some areas where we can have actual businesses in zone five.
hmm.
That's always been a challenge, not having actual businesses. I think we've had a couple stores here and there, some gas stations, but that's pretty much. But for in the grand scheme of things, having actual businesses where people can come in and say, my business is in zone five,
Mm,
that's been some challenges for us. So, definitely zone five is one of the older zones.
hmm.
Now, when I grew up here in zone five, we were considered the Beverly Hills zone. So we were the suburbs.
Mm.
We were the GE homes, which were the homes that GE built for their people who worked at GE, and my mom
Yeah,
worked at
well, yeah, I
GE.
was going to say,
So
yeah.
that's how we got a GE home.
Right.
And so now we've had the issue where we have those homes, they're older homes now.
Hmm.
So helping people to maintain those homes so that they still look nice and they still shine
Mm.
like new, although they are not new. We have some issues with a little uptick in crime, and so we're going to be working more forcefully with the police to deal with those
Mm.
issues.
Okay. And so let's flip from the concerns that you had about Zone 5 to some of the positives. What has made you most
will now call to order the September 10, 2024 City of Daytona Beach Special Magistrate Proceedings. At the outset, I've reviewed and approved the August 13, 2024 minutes. Will those representatives for the City of Daytona Beach be testifying at this morning's proceedings please stand and be sworn?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Madam Secretary, do we have any announcements before this morning?
Yes,
we get
sir.
started?
I have 3 compliance, starting on page 5. Case number 15, SMG 09-24-153, 440 South Caroline Street is in compliance 9/10/24. Page 6, case number 20, SMG 06-24-92, 725 North Peninsula Drive is in compliance 8/22/24. And page number 7, case number 23, SMG 08-24-132, 909 Gibbon Street is in compliance 9/9/24. That's it.
All right, folks, and with that, we'll go directly to this morning's agenda, case number 1, C29 LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, Mr. Figalja. Inspector Garcia, credentials on file. This was a field-generated case for pouring concrete without a permit in the rear of the property. It was posted on August the 2nd, 2024. Compliance due date was August 8, 2024. The site inspection was done on August 14, 2024. Still finding the property in non-compliance. Staff's recommending compliance by next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of our inspector and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 2, SP Daytona, LLLP. Anyone here for the respondent?
Morning, Sarah Kirk, Inspector with the city. My credentials are on file. This was a complaint-generated case for inoperable appliance. First notification was,
Yes, sir, if you would state your name and
Sorry.
be sworn.
State your name,
Brian Benge,
spell your last name,
Benge.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, make sure you speak into the mic, please.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Make sure you speak into the mic, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Binge, your affiliation with SP Daytona LLLP.
I am the Regional Maintenance Director for Apartment Management Consultants.
Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
I'm sorry, sir.
Do you agree this violation existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes, sir.
Then I find the respondent in noncompliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should reasonably be required for the respondent to come into compliance?
by the next cutoff.
City suggests you ought to be able to have this taken care of by October 2. What do you say to that?
I apologize, sir. I was just made aware of this on the 5th. As soon as we found out what apartment number it was, we ordered the new dishwasher. It has been installed. Here's a copy of the work order and the pictures. I don't know who gets that.
It sounds like you just need to call for a final inspection, and with that,
Yes,
you'll
ma'am.
be done. I'll go ahead and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. As you probably heard me say, it ain't over until the final inspection takes place. So now that you've got it done, just call her for an inspection,
Yes, sir.
and that should be the end of it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And make sure you do that before October 2.
Yes, sir.
Case number 3, Lance Stromberg and Eddie Court Residences, LLC. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Okay, this is a complaint-generated case for unpermitted renovations, peeling paint, exterior paint not being uniform, unsanitary interior walls, missing appliance, and inoperable plumbing. Everything is in compliance. We're just waiting on one permit to be finalized. So I'd like to ask a finding of noncompliance with compliance due by the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony as well as the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 4, Forsage Miami Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? All right, folks, if you would please state your names and be sworn.
Yes, my name is Alexander Fomin.
I'm sorry, you said Alexander.
Alexander Fomin.
Ma'am, are you going to be speaking? Speak into the microphone and give me your name.
Alicia Brooks.
Good morning, Inspector Quinn. with-
Hold on, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide to the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Folks, what is your connection to Forsage Miami Incorporated?
Oh, I'm his fiancé.
Okay, does he own the corp?
Yes.
He's the owner of the corporation? Okay,
His English is like, he doesn't.
I understand, not a problem. All right, okay, I'm just satisfying myself that you've got authority and he's got authority to speak on behalf of the corporation. Now, is he in agreement that the violation as stated in the notice of violation occurred? Is that a yes? You have to answer into the microphone if you could.
Yes.
Okay, then I find the respondent in noncompliance. Madam Inspector, what are we dealing with and how much time should be required to come into compliance?
This was for offense without a permit, and the permit has not been applied for yet because they're securing a survey company to come and do a current survey for the property. So I had not had contact with them until Friday afternoon. And I initially put next cutoff, but they're not going to be able to get their survey done and get their permit application by the next cutoff. So
So it looks like they need 60 days.
yeah, yes.
Okay. And
So we'll
permits?
do the November cutoff.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, the city is explained where you stand and what you have left to do. And they've suggested that you ought to be able to have it wrapped up in 60 days or by November 6th. What do you all have to say to that?
Yeah, we will. Because
you.
we already
Thank you.
order what you speak. Yes.
Thank you.
Very
So we are in process in that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, then I will order the respondent to come into compliance by November 6, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Once you get the work done, don't forget to call her to come out and do a final inspection. Otherwise, you're not in compliance yet.
Yes.
It's not done until she checks it off.
Sure. Yes.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 5, Beach Development Group LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a
I'll call you when I'm finished. I'll call you. Okay.
Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
This case was field generated and opened on February 28th of 2024. The respondent was first notified on April 11th for a damaged roof. The compliance date was May 13th, 2024. I've had no contact with the property owner. However, there is an issued permit. It just hasn't been finalized yet. Staff recommends noncompliance with the compliance of the next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 6, Gregory Karpinski. Anyone here for the respondent? Morning.
State your names.
My name is Gregory Karpinski. I apologize for I've lost my voice. I have some medical issues.
You and me both.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Karpinski, do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
By and large, yes, with some minor exceptions because there's some little progress. And I think the city would agree. But by and large, I agree with the findings.
Then I find the respondent in noncompliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should
But I would like to add to it.
Pardon?
I would like to add to it something.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Coinciding with the inspection, diagnosed with a kidney cancer. So I could not address the issues because I had a surgery. I met with the compliance officer. We talked. We've prolonged the compliance period of time. Since then, I've been undergoing some cancer treatment, so I was not fully able to address this particular issue. The house is not occupied by anybody else but by me. I'm living on my own. But I'm regaining some strength, so I would be asking, in agreement with the city, for additional 6 months to remove the issues noted in the notice of violation. And on a monthly basis, we may come back on a monthly basis to fully check progress. But I would need 6 months to really address those. 1 month will not be enough to bring the house into compliance.
All right, Madam Inspector, what is left to be done, and how much time should reasonably be required to come into compliance?
They've removed the damaged gutter and had that repaired, and they have started on the back porch. So, and I have spoken with Mr. Karpinski's daughter, who is willing to. She lives in another city, but she was willing to come in and help him get this completed. So. I'm comfortable with his request for 6 months with monthly progress checks just to make sure that they're staying on track and going to meet their compliance deadline. So for us, they still have to do the back porch has been pressure washed, I believe, since these photos were taken, and they've just started painting, but they do have the garage to take care of with the rot, with all the wood rot, and they've got a front porch area and some painting to do. So if they can come monthly and show that they've been steadily making progress, I would be comfortable with extending it.
And now that I can see that the medical treatment I'm undergoing is appears to be working for me. I have regained some strength, so I'll be able to address it. But the extent of the work requires more than 1 month, so I'm asking for 6.
Okay. Have I already found the respondent in noncompliance?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to order the respondent be in compliance by March 12, 2024, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. In the interim, the house is not to be occupied, rented, or otherwise utilized until it's fully in compliance. That means by anyone other than you.
Can we change the date by at least 1 day, because March 12th is my birthday?
Mr.
You want me to make it March 11th?
How about 13?
March 13th. March 13, 2024. Hold it, I'm using the wrong date to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's March 5th is
I'm
the
sorry,
cutoff.
March 5th. There we go, we solved that. Okay, and I want a progress report at our November 12 meeting and our January 14 meeting.
Can you repeat that?
Bringing
Okay,
you in
so
for 2 progress reports.
okay, so 6 months will be deadlined
6 months will
by
be March 5,
okay
2024.
2025.
2025. You're going to be back here on November 12th to tell us what progress you've made so we can make sure you're on track to getting done. And you're going to be here on January 14th to once again tell us what progress you've made and assure us you're on track to wrap it up by March 5th. Okay?
Okay, will I get a separate notice to appear here, or I'll have to remember it?
Yes, you will.
No, you'll get a notice.
I'll get a notice. Okay.
I assume you get your mail at 315 Cedar Street. Very good. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck on your treatments.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Case number 7, R&J Estates LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? All right, folks, if you would please state your names and be sworn by our secretary.
State your name for the record.
Rosa Alvarado,
Rosa, I'm sorry, spell the last name.
Alvarado.
And your name, sir?
Freddie Aukakispi.
Freddie, spell the last name.
Aucaquizpi.
Okay, you guys can raise your right hands. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, what is your affiliation with R&J Estates Incorporated?
I'm the owner.
She's the owner? Okay. All right. Do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, I find the respondent in noncompliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should be required to bring the property into compliance?
He's going to explain soon.
Okay, 1 second.
It's a complicated issue because permitting is wanting them to raise the entire house and put it on stilts.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so it's in a flood zone area. FEMA, this is what a FEMA regulation, FEMA's requiring it to be raised. So any of the properties on that street particularly, when they have a major renovation done, this is part of the requirement for the permit. So there was interior renovation done without a permit, and so this was trying to get an after-the-fact permit for the interior renovations. They found this was the listing showing that it had a full renovation done, because I've not seen the inside of the house. But this came to me from Mark Boyson Permitting. So they did hire someone to represent them with the city to try to get a waiver to maybe do to dig out around the house and put the retaining, the flood wall around it. And that was unsuccessful. So as far as time goes, it's going to be a major project to lift that house and very expensive. So I haven't talked to them since they were denied by permitting to do the alternative method. So I'm not sure what their plan is at this point.
So as it stands, they're not going to get a permit.
They're not going to get a permit unless they raise the house.
Are you planning on raising the house?
The problem is too expensive.
Okay.
The main challenge with this house is that half of the house is on a slab.
Half the house is what now?
On a slab, on cement. So when they actually, not hire, but get some quotes, most of the companies that they went, they said if the house already has a crawl space, that's not a problem. But the fact that it has a slab is very difficult to elevate a house that is on a slab. So that's the main challenge. So they were running into different companies, but pretty much all of them, they were declining because they said it's not a real house. It's not a house that can easily be elevated. So that's why they were looking for other options, like the lady was saying, because the fact that it's on cement, it gets very difficult.
Just out of curiosity, how high does the house have to be raised? Does anybody know?
It's not much. I just,
I think less than a foot.
no, it's less than a quarter than a foot. It's not much. We have the elevation certificate, and I think the FEMA guidelines also show it's not really much. It's, I think, probably quarter of a foot elevated. It's not really that much. But even that, they're still requiring that.
Okay, forgive my ignorance, but I know nothing about FEMA or floods or floodplains other than I hear of them. Is this something that you can get a variance for?
When you say variance, what do you mean?
Is this the kind of regulation that somebody has a body of people there to hear whatever hardship you may have that might warrant them giving you a variance and waiving enforcement of this requirement for you?
That's what we're looking for. But unfortunately, we were looking for some options. But I think the city at this point, they want the house to be elevated. Because we're looking some other options as well. Like the lady was saying, coming with different options of doing like a retainer around. But I think that'll be up to the city.
Is this house occupied?
No, it's vacant.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue this matter to next month's meeting.
Okay.
In the meantime, that house is not to be rented,
No, it's
occupied, utilized, or sold.
Okay. No.
We will meet at the next meeting. That'll give you another 30 days for you to explore whatever options or remedies you may have available to you.
And that's something that we'd like to know with the city, if they can allow us, because we were looking for some options. But all of them, they were declined, and they were pretty much mentioning that they want that house to be elevated. But the fact that it's on a slab gets very, or demolished. But the fact that it's on a slab is what most of the companies, they don't want to do it.
All right,
Because the
well,
house
I
is-
heard you, and I understand that. So right now, you're between a rock and a hard place. And I would not expect the city to necessarily be conversant with FEMA and what you have to do to get them to waive their requirements. I don't know. And you don't know. And to be perfectly honest, I'd be surprised if the city knew, because that's another jurisdiction altogether. But in any event, I don't even know who you're supposed to be talking to. You got 30 days to figure it out.
Okay.
Because as it stands, the future of this house is starting to look like condemnation to me. If that regulation stands and you're not allowed to occupy it, you're not allowed to repair it, and I don't think you'd be allowed to sell it or dump it, but that's not my concern primarily. So in any event, I will continue a determination of compliance in this matter until the October 8, 2024 meeting. All right, good luck, folks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, I don't even know who to tell you to go talk to.
That's another
We,
option.
we've been in this for a year already, 18 months, I mean.
And that's another thing. If there's some place that we can go and get informed or do a research, that would be great because we don't know either.
We don't know who else.
When did you buy this house?
That was March 2023. So this been going for over a year.
All right, good luck. Sorry, I can't offer you more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Case number 8, RimSim or RimKim Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing.
I didn't have a Zoom participant for that case.
Okay.
I apologize if I misenunciated. I do not have a Zoom case.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm good to go?
Yes.
All righty. Okay, RimKim Incorporated. Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
This case was complaint generated and opened on April 5th of 2024. The respondent was first notified on May 15th, 2024. The violation is for no permit for exterior stairs. The compliance date was June 15th, 2024. I have had contact with the property owner, who is in the process of trying to secure an engineer to get the permit for the stairs completed. I have non-compliance with the compliance for the next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case 9, D&J Global Holdings, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
This case was complaint generated and opened on June 14th, 2024. The respondent was first notified on June 14th, 2024 for no business tax receipt. The compliance date was July 5th, 2024. I've had no contact with the property owners. Staff recommends compliance with non-compliance at the next cutoff. Or excuse me, with compliance at the next cutoff.
All right, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the inspector's testimony, I find the respondent in noncompliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by March 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for, is it consideration of a fine or just the imposition of that business tax receipt?
Yeah, consideration of the administrative fine of $250.
We'll consider the imposition of the administrative fine for failing to obtain the business tax receipt. Case number 10, Scott Ibsen. Anyone here for the respondent? Good morning.
Morning. John Stinson, Code Inspector with the City. My qualifications are on file. This is a complaint-driven case for unpermitted plumbing and electrical work, renovations, and exterior staining walls. There's been no contact with this property owner. The certified mail was received on 13 May 2024. The compliance was due on 27 May. of 2024. The last site visit was on September 6, 2024. The property remains in noncompliance. Asking for an order of noncompliance and compliance by the next cutoff.
You're asking for a what now?
A noncompliance, compliance by the next cutoff.
Okay. All right, noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in noncompliance. In order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 11, GEA Seaside Investments Incorporated. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning. Inspector Curtis Wiggins, Code Compliance, credentials on file. This case was opened on March 1st, 2024. Citizen complaint case for work without permits, siding, soffit, damaged railings on stairwell. First notice received was April 10th, 2024. The compliance was due by May 10th, 2024. I've had no contact with the owner. Last date of reinspection was September the 3rd, 2024. The result of the reinspection was non-compliance. Staff recommends non-compliance with compliance next cutoff.
Okay. Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent to be in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case 12, GEA Seaside Investments Incorporated. Once again, we have no respondent. What say the city?
All right, this case was opened on February the 13th, 2024. A field-generated case for a building that was demolished. Work has not been completed, and demolition permit has expired without any inspection. First notice received was February the 13th, 2024. The compliance was due by February the 23rd, 2024. I've had no contact with the owner. Last date of reinspection was September the 9th, 2024. The result of the reinspection was non-compliance. Staff recommends non-compliance with compliance next cutoff.
Okay, is there a humanoid involved with GEA? Is there an actual person somewhere
Yeah,
that
it
you
is.
run into now and then, or
Yes.
talks to you, or passes through town, or sends us postcards?
Well, he has, I guess, multiple properties. I have spoken with him before.
Who is he?
Jack Aberman.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the photographs presented, finding the respondent in non-compliance and ordering the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 13, GEA Seaside Investments Incorporated. Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
All right, this case was opened on April 23rd, 2024. This was a police complaint case for outside storage, peeling paint, dilapidated fence, dilapidated stairwell, deck, boarded windows, and missing strings on windows. First notice received was April the 29th, 2024. The compliance was due by May 29th, 2024. I've had no contact with the owner. Last date of reinspection was September the 3rd, 2024, and the result of the reinspection was non-compliance. Staff recommend non-compliance with compliance next cutoff.
Noting the absence of the respondent and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Is it Mr. Pickens or Pickett? What case you here on?
11 Tomoka Road, LLC.
Is that a lien review or is that a case?
That is
Lane
It's a
review.
lien
What
review.
now?
lane review.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was going to try to expedite you, but,
Thank you, Your Honor.
and is it a lien review in which there's going to be a dispute, or is it one you all resolved?
It's not resolved.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. Okay, case number 14, Amani Group LLC. Not seeing a respondent, we'll say the city.
Morning, Inspector Bostwick. Credentials on file. This case was field generated, opened on July 26, 2024. Overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris. First notification was on July 26. Property was posted. Compliance was due by August 5th of 2024. Last day of reinspection was September 6th. Result, non-compliance. There's been no contact from the owner. Staff requests a finding of non-compliance with compliance due next cutoff.
Noting the absence of a respondent based upon the inspector's testimony and the photographs presented, I find the respondent in non-compliance and order the respondent to come into compliance by October 2, 2024, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 15 is in compliance. Case number 16, Gail Lucinda Smith. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Yes, ma'am. If you would please state your name and be sworn.
Gail Lucinda Smith.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you agree these violations existed or occurred as stated in the notice of violation?
Yes.
All right, I find the respondent in non-compliance. Madam Inspector, how much time should it require for Ms. Smith to come into compliance?
We're asking for compliance by next cutoff.
The city seems to think you ought to be able to have this taken care of by October 2. What do you think about that?
I would ask for more time because she had been reaching out to me. The person that was doing this, I was on the web, so I got notice from the city about it. So I'm actually trying to get someone out there to do it myself because I don't know nothing about all this. But someone else that's involved in the property was doing this without my notice.
Okay, well, it says overgrown vacant lot, trash and debris. So it sounds like it's some mowing and cleanup to me, unless I'm missing something.
No, we're number 16,
Oh, I'm sorry, am I on the wrong case?
right?
Yeah, we're number 16.
I'm on the wrong case. Okay, what's the violation? Dirt and grime, no permit, stairs and patio, damaged soffit. That's what we're dealing with?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, the question right now is whether you're going to be in compliance by October 2. If you're not, tell me why.
My issue with it is me trying to find someone for the stilts, the permit for the stilts that got did without a permit, and trying to find someone to paint the home. Money is the issue right now. It's
Okay,
not
do you own this property?
Yeah, it's in my name, but
I mean, it's a pretty big property
yes,
for anyone to be taken care of. That's why I'm asking.
yes,
Okay, so you plan on getting this done, or
yes.
you're just wishing and praying?
No, I'm planning on getting it done. I'm trying to get help to get it did. I'll just take the next cutoff notice October 2nd.
You what now?
I do the October 2nd, and I'll get it did.
All right, based upon the
More time.
testimony presented?
I'm sorry,
Pardon?
Mr. McAllister. Can we extend it to the November cutoff, please?
Sure, why?
Well, there is a little bit of history behind this. So this work supposedly was done by her brother, and she did not really know that this was going on. I didn't find this out until yesterday when I spoke to her brother. So I was just, now that she's aware of this, we can extend it to November's cutoff.
All right, well, Ms. Smith, the city is being very gracious. Then I will extend the compliance date until November 6, 2024.
Thank you.
And if you're not in compliance by then, you'll be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Okay.
Good luck to you.
Thank
Please don't drop the ball. I know it's a tall order, but you
Yeah.
got to see it through.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mr. McKelvey, I know you had asked about the attorney that was present. I know there is an attorney online where we do have it resolved if you wanted to handle that case. It is a lien review, but we do have it resolved. We just needed to present the issue to you.
And this attorney's on Zoom?
Yeah, this would be the 710 Loomis case on lien review number, I'm flipping the pages,
3 and 4.
lien review number 4.
3 and 4.
I'm sorry, it's not the, I'm sorry?
Loomis is 3. Lien review 3 and 4.
Oh, lien review 3 and 4.
So lien review 3, 710 Loomis Avenue. Lien review 4, South Martin Luther King Boulevard. We have an agreement on those?
Yes.
And we have an attorney on Zoom that's going to confirm that?
Good morning. Yes, Ryan Abrams on behalf of the respondent.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, Mr. Technical guy behind the wall. Could you bring up the Zoom people? He's up.
Mr. Abrams.
Okay, I'm going to go to lien review number 3, Florida LLC, 710 Loomis Avenue. Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent?
Yes, good morning, Ryan Abrams.
And I understand you're an attorney.
Yes,
And it's been suggested to me that you and the city have come to some resolution.
for purposes of today's hearing, yes, we are going to do a release of a cross encumbrance on another property and continue otherwise.
If I may, Mr. Vacalja, Mr. Abrams, what I want to do is I'll provide to Mr. Vacalja my last correspondence to you, just so he can kind of get up to speed a little bit.
Sure.
And then I'll describe what we're doing.
Sure, thank you.
All right, well, what I'm reading seems to suggest that the city's agreeing to a partial release, releasing a cross encumbrance of a property at 4495 South Atlantic Boulevard, 302. But the city is continuing on with the remaining issues regarding the lien review, which will be heard at the October meeting. Is that your understanding?
Yes,
That's the agreement?
that is the agreement.
Okay, well then, with the stipulation of the parties, I will go ahead and order the partial release, releasing the cross encumbrance of the property at 4495 South Atlantic Boulevard, 302, with the understanding that
I'm sorry, it's Atlantic Avenue, just
4495 South Atlantic. All right.
Oh, yeah, I probably copied the boulevard from your email, but yeah, it's probably
Okay.
correct, Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah.
South Atlantic Avenue, 302, and the remaining issues regarding the lien review will be preserved for hearing at the October meeting.
yes,
Very good. Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
There's one other matter that I'm here for.
Oh, okay, yes. Lien
Mr.
review
Mr.
number
Jackson.
4? Is it lien review number 4?
Yes, and I don't think I discussed that one separately with Mr. Jackson. I think it was brought to my attention later yesterday that it's also on the agenda, but for the same reasons, I would just ask for agreement that that one be continued as well at the October meeting.
And I agree, I didn't realize it as well until staff pointed it out to me, but yeah, it's the same circumstance, and we would ask for the same determination for lien review number 4.
So lien review number 4 is also cross encumbering 4495 South Atlantic Avenue?
Yes, it's,
Okay, so we want to do the exact same thing, preserving the lien review to be heard in October.
that's correct.
All right? Is that your understanding, sir?
With the exception that I don't think it is cross encumbrance. It's a separate owner, but it's the same beneficial owner of the entity. So, but the underlying issue is the same, and we would ask that that one be continued for that reason.
Okay, you say it's a different owner. Are you authorized to speak on his behalf?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, and with regard to lien review number 4, I will similarly enter grant a partial release, releasing the cross encumbrancy, releasing the cross encumbrance for the property at 4495 South Atlantic Avenue, 302, with the remainder of the lien review continued to the October meeting. Did I say that right?
Yes, that's correct from my perspective.
Okay, sir, we're done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Okay, returning to our agenda. Case number 17, Lauren and Herb Kawesh.
This is all movie Zoom, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, if you would please state your name and be sworn.
Yes, sir. Thomas Huger.
Are you here for Mr. Kawesh?
I am.
Okay.
I'm here as well on Zoom.
Very good.
Yes. Thomas Huger.
Mr. Kawesh, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, this matter is here for the imposition of a fine, so let's hear from the city.
This case was first noticed May 23rd, 2022. Since the last hearing, I've had no contact and no progress. I would ask for a fine of $100 a day to a max of $20,000.
Okay, Mr. Huger, what say you to that?
I have been engaged. I am a Florida certified contractor. I've been engaged by Ms. Koresh. There is a permit, an active permit, and I do apologize that I have not contacted you. This just transpired over the last few days. So we're in the process of making the corrections.
What corrections remain to be made?
They still require permitting for the unpermitted structural work in the rear, permitting for the unpermitted work in the laundry room that was structural.
Laundry room in the front building or back building?
Front building. And it's the back left building that has the unpermitted structural work on the foundation. And permitting for unpermitted install of water heaters.
That's been.
Or sorry, heaters. Did we get the heater permit finalized?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying you got the permit heater finalized?
The heaters have been removed.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. Then that's no longer an issue.
Water heater has
It's no
been
longer an
permitted.
issue.
And that's
And
it.
so what's left as far as I'm aware is that laundry room and the leveling of it's 515, the back left building. The back left building has already been permitted. The previous contractor, passed away. So there are already engineering drawings for that on file. And Mr. Huger will follow through with that to get that accomplished. And then the others is the support in the laundry room in the front building. That should be the only two items left.
Okay, Mr. Inspector, did he accurately describe what's left to be done?
I believe so.
Do we know why it's not done yet?
I had contacted another contractor who said, "Oh, everybody down there knows me. I'm not gonna ditch or take your money." His phone answers that he's the provider for Home Depot, and then after not showing up for several meetings there on site, he said he doesn't have time to do the work, which set me back to to first step again. And somebody else was kind enough to give me Mr. Huger's phone number, and he's been retained and said he can get it done certainly before the next cutoff, I believe. He could speak on that.
Mr. Inspector, how much time should be required to finish whatever's left to be done?
If they're moving quickly, assuming, as he said, he has all drawings prepared, I see no reason why everything shouldn't be absolutely wrapped up in 2 months.
2 months. All right, Mr. Huger, I'm being told that your man is in non-compliance, has been for some time now, and he's got at least another 2 months of work ahead of him. What say you?
I agree.
Have you been formally retained?
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a notice of violation here. When did this saga start, Mr. Inspector?
May 23rd, 2022.
And what is the nature, as you understand it, of the work that's left to be done to bring the respondent into compliance?
Level the rear building and provide connectors for the support. There are two
Level
posts.
the rear building.
Yes.
What does that mean? It's got to be jacked up?
Yes, sir. It has to be jacked up, remove the existing piers and bases, pour a new pad with rebar in it, place new blocks there, pour them solid, then level the building.
And then what else has to be done? Is that the back building?
Sir?
Is that the back building?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then in the laundry room, there are 3 posts, I think, there that do not have supports or connectors that will be installed.
So you got 3 structural, beams that have to go in there?
Posts.
Posts. And is that it then?
Yes, and I believe he's also accurately described exactly what he needs to do to repair it, not vaguely at all, just exactly what needs to be done.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until November 6, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. I hope everybody gets it done because I'm probably not going to do that again. So I'm just putting everybody on notice that I want it done. And I know you've run into some difficulties in the past. Hopefully, Mr. Huger is going to take care of all that for you. But at this point, we're looking for this matter to be wrapped up by November 6, 2024. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As they say, get her done. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Huger.
much.
Case number 18, S&O Investment USA, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent?
Yes, sir. Steve Iturriaga, representing S&O. I'm the owner, or one of.
Sorry, say your last name again.
Iturriaga, Y-T-U-R-R-I-A-G-A.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Action from July hearing. Obtain permits by September 4 or return for imposition of a fine. Continued for progress report and determination of a compliance date. Okay, where are we, Mr. Inspector?
Okay. Respondent was first notified of violation February the 16th, 2024. Since the July hearing, there was no progress made. I've had contact with the owner one time since July, which was September the 3rd, 2024. The last inspection date was September the 9th, 2024, which is non-compliance. So the staff recommend a fine of $100 a day to a cap of $15,000.
What's left to be done?
He haven't, for what I see, he haven't submitted the permit as of yet to the permit department.
Okay, what say the respondent?
So this was originally going to be small renovation project turned into a gigantic renovation project. After our last meeting, I met with the architect and discussed what we could do with this. This is a triplex, if you can see in the pictures, and we're talking about the right side of the triplex, the part that you see there in the picture. Originally, this was going to be replaced, some drywall that was damaged, put new cabinets in, a window or two here and there, a small renovation project. We ended up doing.
Is the greenhouse the property?
No, sir, that's the neighbor. It's just this portion of the property right here, the portion that you see from the gray building this way towards us. It's about a third, about a third of the structure. Anyways, after many meetings with architects and engineers, we've kind of determined that is really doesn't make any sense to try to save that side of the structure. So I ordered a survey after the last hearing, which was one of the big things that we needed. That survey took over a month, almost 5 weeks to get the survey done. I have it in hand here. So at this point, it looks like what we're going to have to do is demo the entire side of the structure. My architect contacted a Missy Phillips with the city zoning to find out what we could do. He really couldn't draw anything until we had the survey, until he talked to her to decide whether we can build a 2-story structure there or the same footprint or what we're going to do with that property. At this point, what it's looking like is the city told the architect that we could rebuild that side as long as it did not exceed 65% of the building, which it won't. And so what we're going to do now is get drawings for to demo that side of the building and rebuild it. And so I need some additional time in order to get the full set of plans. Now it's kind of a new build, so I need complete structural and HVAC, plumbing, electrical, all of these plans to be submitted to the city for a new rebuild on that side. So I'm requesting 2 or 3 month time to get those plans drawn up and to get bids to rebuild that section of the building.
Mr. Inspector, are you understanding what he's talking about?
I understand about the.
I mean, I hear him, but I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I just understand about the permits part of it. That, again, like I said, he haven't submitted the permits. And like I said, I haven't heard anything from him until last Tuesday.
So I called Inspector Wiggins last Tuesday to try to meet with him to explain to him the progress that I've been going through and the fact that the project couldn't move forward until I had the survey, which took so long from the previous hearing that we had. Inspector Wiggins didn't have time to meet with me last week and said to just bring it up here, so I'm bringing it up here. I need additional time because this is now turned into a new build as opposed to a renovation, which is what it originally was going to be. I'm going to have to demo that entire side and rebuild it.
Is 613 Hillside a single unit, or is it the entire triplex?
613 is one side of the triplex.
And that's the side we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Is that the side I'm looking at right there?
Yes, sir. That's the side right there.
And that's the side that's going to, you're now thinking about demoing
the entire side.
Rebuilding.
Correct.
So you are now proposing to demo 613 Hillside.
That's correct.
Obtain new permits and then build something there.
And the city said that I can basically just build what's there. If I was going to go through that trouble, I wanted to build a 2-story building and make something that was more viable. But the city said that I can basically only build what's there currently. And so that was just determined a week or so ago after meeting with city zoning to discuss what could be built there. And we couldn't have that meeting prior to a week or two ago because we were waiting on a survey. The city needed
Let me see your survey, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir, right here.
I'll tell you what, I'll pass it along. Thank you. I didn't pass it.
I have the receipt for the survey that showed when I paid the original and when I paid the final, when they finished it. It shows it was at least a month plus about a week of talking to them about what was needed.
So this survey encompasses all 3 of the units that you mentioned?
Yes, sir, it does. That's the entire site plan.
And but this end of it is not a 2-story building?
No, sir. You can see the 2 stories on the left side. That's 611 Hillside, where the 2-story is. And then 613 is from that gray wall that you see up there this way. That picture's kind of, if you looked at it from the front, I have a picture that shows it from the front if you'd like to see it, which shows both sides. Can I bring this to you and show you this picture on my phone?
I think I understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, as I understand the notice of violation, it's failure to have a permit for some interior renovations.
Correct.
Property owner on July 15 of 2024 was provided an order giving him until September 4th to come into compliance. July, August, September, that'd be 2 months. The man says he went and got a survey, and apparently did, and the survey wasn't available till August 12th, so he used at least half his time getting a survey. I've personally tried getting surveys, and I know they don't happen very fast. I know that. But in any event, it doesn't matter. The property owner now wishes to come into compliance, not just by getting a permit for the existing renovations, but tearing this down and building something new or different. Property owner, I presume, understands that if he does that, then .613 Hillside obviously will not be occupied for some time to come.
Yes, that's correct.
So the property owner is now proposing that I give him additional time to get the permit for new plans for a new structure, which will ultimately theoretically improve the property and cure the non-compliance. Okay. All right, so.
Mr. McCutcheon, if I could just be heard briefly.
Sure.
Everything you just said and this gentleman says that what he's looking to do is, as you said, improve the property. It really amends or would amend our definition of compliance. The unfortunate thing is our inspector's struggling with knowing where he's going and what he intends on doing. He came the last day of the deadline to say, now let's talk about it. The most important thing for us at this stage, we recognize it doesn't make any sense to move forward or find based upon where we are and what he says he's going to do. We don't have any way, we had not had an earlier opportunity to verify those things, and it's wonderful that he's doing everything he ought to do with the city. The important thing is that he really needs to keep the inspector up to speed with what's going on so that the inspector can be well aware as we track our move towards compliance. So that's just something that I just need to say on behalf of the inspector.
90 days, and what is it you're going to have accomplished at the end of those 90 days?
So I need a month or so to finish the set of drawings, the complete set of drawings that I need to have done. There, like I said, there are several professionals, not just my architect, which I got on retainer, but I need the structural and all the parts of the drawings to do a new build. Then I need to bid this project out to several contractors to get some pricing on building a new structure there. So that's why I'm asking for the 3 months, you know, that I hate to come back over here in a month or two and say, hey, I need another month. So if you give me the 3 months, I think that by then I should be able to have some sort of permitting in place to start the construction project and the demolition and the construction project at that point in time. I don't think that a new project is going to get done for 6 to 8 months by the time that they start building it, and I don't know how much time a contractor's going to need to build a new.
Dealing with here is failure to have a permit. So if you have a permit within 90 days, I would think we were done.
Well, we're still left with having that permit
Closed.
finalized. And so really this just morphed into something different than where it started, but the ultimate issue is the issue of compliance and our ability to monitor, manage that for the magistrate as we walk our way through to a final endpoint. And as I said, the communication is the thing that would help tremendously in being able to come back and verify and validate and either agree or disagree with the position of the respondent.
At the end of the day, I'm not sure how long all of this is going to take. And reaching out to Inspector Wiggins on this thing, I thought I was being proactive by calling him last week. I guess that I waited too late to call him. But I really didn't have...
My problem is I don't want to go giving away 90 days just to find out you're going to disappear. I gave away 90 days, and then this man's going to say, why didn't you find this guy $100 a day 90 days ago? So here's what I'm going to do.
I'm not sure how I'm going to disappear, sir, when I've got an investment in this property over here on the beach.
And that, yeah, GEAC, never mind, I better shut my mouth. Lots of people have investments in property here. Lots of people have investments in really crappy looking properties too. But I'll say that. And I'm not trying to be disparaging. I'm just saying I'm up here hearing this for the first time. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to continue this matter until our October 8, 2024 meeting. I don't have a problem generally with what you're looking for, but I just want to hear at our October 8, 2024 meeting that you're actually following through on all the stuff you're saying you're doing. I understand it won't be done. I understand it might be incomplete,
right?
But, and you can do a Zoom hearing if you want. I don't know where you come from.
Yeah, no.
But my point is, I just want some verification that things are underway. And once we're satisfied, everything's underway, then I suspect I would give you the remainder of the 90 days that you're looking for. I just want to know again, not meaning to be insulting. I just want to see I want to see the effort before we give you the whole enchilada. 10-4?
That's your call.
Yes, sir. All right, so I will continue this matter to our October 8, 2024 meeting. And at that point, I'm looking for a progress report on the completion of the plans and drawings and what have you, and or the application for a permit. And assuming we're all satisfied with that, then I guess you'll be renewing your request for the 90 days, which would take you up to December 4, and we'll be happy to hear it.
Okay, I got my survey back.
Here's your survey. Tony?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got you.
Case number 19, Berrioza LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
Good morning, John Stinson, Code Inspector with the city. My qualifications are on file. This respondent was first notified on 13 May of 2024. There has been contact. The property is not occupied. There has been little to no progress on this permit. It was returned for corrections on July 30th of 2024, and as of today, there still has been no permit issued. The city is asking for the imposition of a fine of $200 per day to be capped at $15,000.
Noting the okay, say that again now. How much?
$200 per day to be capped at $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent and the testimony of the inspector and the photographs presented, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $200 per day, commencing September 5, 2024, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until such time as the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 20 is in compliance. Case number 21, Virgil and Ellen Rosenfeld Family Trust, dated June 22, 2005. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
This respondent was first notified on 7 December 2023. There has been contact with the property owner. Property is occupied. There's been minimal progress. The permits were issued on May 20th, 2024. There's been no other progress. There's been no contact with this property owner since the last hearing, and we are asking for compliance by the October cutoff, please.
All right, what happened here? A chunk of the wall fell off?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the whole back wall.
Okay, based upon our inspector's report, I will amend our current order of noncompliance. To allow the respondent until October 2, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 22, Larry and Shirley Johnson. Anyone here for the respondent? Noting the absence of a respondent, what say the city?
All right, good morning again, Inspector Bostwick. All right, respondent was first notified back on May 2nd of 2024. Now, I have been in contact with the granddaughter, and she actually texted me this morning and said they're having a family emergency, so she could not get the vacant lot cut, and was requesting some additional time. And in regards to the demolition of the property, they have come into agreement with the city to demolish the property, in which the city says it will take about 2 to 3 months to get that done. So I would like to amend, give her another month to clean up the lot, and then go ahead and set the compliance date for the structure for November.
This is the dilapidated structure.
Correct, sir.
Noting the absence of the respondent based upon our inspector's testimony, order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until October 2, 2024 to come into compliance. The requirement that the overgrown vacant lot, trash, debris, overgrown weeds, and underbrush and unmaintained abutment area be brought into compliance by October 2, 2024, and that the dilapidated structure be in compliance by November 6, 2024. Failing compliance by either of those deadlines, the respondent will be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Case number 23 is in compliance. Case number 24, JPL Investment Corporation. Is there anyone here for the respondent? Okay, not seeing a respondent, what say the city?
The respondent was first notified on June 15, 2024. Since last month's hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max fine of $15,000.
Maximum of what?
$15,000.
Based upon our testimony, based upon our inspector's testimony, I'm finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing September 5, 2024, and that fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 25, Rosalie Riley. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
Respondent was first noticed on July 1st of 2024. Since last month's hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max fine of $15,000.
Okay. Based upon our inspector's testimony, noting the absence of the respondent and the photographs presented, and finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing September 5, 2024. The fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the amount of the fine has reached $15,000 or the property is brought into compliance. Case number 26, Norman H. Riley. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
Respondent was first notified on July 1st of 2024. Since last month's hearing, there's been no contact or progress. Staff requests a fine of $250 a day with a max fine of $15,000.
Noting the absence of the respondent, based upon the testimony of the inspector and the photographs presented, I am finding the respondent the sum of $250 per day commencing September 5, 2024. That fine will continue to accrue each day thereafter until the property is in compliance or the amount of the fine has reached the sum of $15,000. Case number 27, Masonova Daytona, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Not seeing a respondent. What say the city?
He's on Zoom.
There they are.
Okay, we have somebody here. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Ephraim Brody.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, action to be taken. We were supposed to have permit-ready site plans by September 4 or impose a fine, and we're supposed to have a progress report on September 10th to establish a compliance date. All right, do we have our permit-ready site plans?
Mark Jones, field supervisor with the city. My credentials are on file. The answer is no. There has been no site plan submitted as of yesterday evening.
Why don't we have any site plans?
We finished the replat. Everything's recorded. Our contractor, he should be on. Danny, he should be on also. I don't know if he should be on the Zoom. He went to submit plans, but he changed his corporation name, so he resubmitted his contractor information to the city. And as of yesterday, as of this morning even, we hadn't gotten the update. We hadn't gotten the city hadn't notified us if they hadn't updated his information of the system. Once they update it, we're going to submit it. Everything's ready to go. We're ready to go and ready to start the work.
Sorry, Special Magistrate, this is Daniel from Parkville. I'm sorry, another call came in. I apologize. I put on Do Not Disturb. I apologize for not being on at the exact time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you state your name, please?
Sure, Daniel Parker from Park Build. I'm the general contractor for this project. Okay, I'm sorry. Right here?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Where is our permit-ready site plan?
Okay, so he just changed ownership, thank God. So we had to change EMI, who's doing the plans. They had to do some changes on it. So we basically have them in with them. We just registered with the city on Friday. I believe this week we'll have the permits in for their first review.
When will we have the permit-ready site plan?
Permit-ready site plan, I mean, it'd be this week, it's in the city.
So you're telling me it's already been delivered?
Yeah, we already have it. The only delay we have on our end was that we waited to register the company with the city of Daytona. So we exactly. So we put it on Friday. We registered, and they haven't responded yet. There's I guess a queue time before us. We can actually register a company to do the submittal.
So where is the permit-ready site plan?
It's not in the city yet. We have to register the company first, then we can submit it all in one package.
And when do you plan on doing that?
As soon as Daytona City allows us to register as that company. I'm assuming in the next couple of days will be registered, so give me a week, we'll have everything in the city.
Mr. Attorney, what's he talking about?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll explain a little different. So we weren't registered as a general contractor in Daytona. So we registered on Friday because we finally got the site plan ready for delivery to put into the city. So we went to put it in the city and we were not able to because we're not registered with Daytona. So on Friday, we put all our paperwork in, general licensing, insurance, everything into the city to register. It's still in queue to be approved, to be registered. Once we get registered, we can submit our package into the city.
So
Hello?
what is the extenuating circumstance I'm supposed to take into consideration in response to the demand from the city that you be fined?
The only issue we had was it wasn't the ownership. We finally got the ownership, and then we had to have the plans changed during that ownership time. Then we're ready to submit now. I mean, as soon as the Daytona allows me to submit, we're submitting. Then we can wrap this job up finally.
Can I add a piece?
Can you what?
Should I add? Just a note, the replat was finally approved and recorded over the last few weeks. And the release of mortgage, because we had to do a replat. I don't know if you recall. We had to replat. It was finally replatted and recorded, and the release of mortgage was documents were sent in for recording. So now that that's done, we were able to submit the plans, which the contractor went to do, as you heard. But he had to re-record. He changed his corporation name, so we had to re-register with the Daytona.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. And are we also supposed to discuss a progress report and establish a compliance date?
Yeah, that was with the assumption that the site plans had been submitted, so we would be able to have some sort of timeline.
And heard from them?
I have had no contact with them since the hearing in July. As some of the photos show, the potholes in the parking lot just continued to erode, especially now that we've been having rain. I mean, they submitted for a lighting permit back in early part of July. The drawings were returned for the site lighting for this whole property, and they've never resubmitted the corrections that were required. I just haven't had any contact from them and had no knowledge of any of this other information that they're now bringing today.
And you want to see your permit-ready site plan so you can take a look at them and estimate how much time would be required for them to come into compliance.
Yes, but we would be able to find out what the permitting time would be, and then they would have to give us an outline as to the time, or a timeline, excuse me, as to the construction.
All right, well, I'm going to take you at your word when you tell me between the replat and the registration of your contractor has caused some administrative interference. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do pretty much what we did already, but I'm going to move it down the road 1 month. I'm going to amend our order to allow you until, how far in advance of our next meeting do you want this site plan?
Well, I'd like it if what they're saying is they feel they should be able to submit it, that they must be complete. They're just waiting for that registration. So I'd like to see them submitting the site plan within a week to 10 days.
Okay. All right, then. I would like, I'm going to order, what is today's date?
10th? July 10th?
September 10th.
September? Missed a month.
Okay.
Should have just left it.
All right, I'm going to order that we have our permit-ready site plans by September I'm sorry, but yeah, by September 18th. What is today's date?
September 10th.
The 18th will
I
be
want
next
to add
Wednesday.
I want to add 2 weeks to today. What is that?
That'd be September 24th.
All right, I want our permit-ready site plans by September 24th. And then we will meet again at the October 8th meeting to determine a compliance date. And if we don't have the permit-ready site plans by September 24th, then you'll be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter.
Mr. McCalge, if I can just say this as well. You had to take their word for it. Our inspector couldn't verify these things because he didn't tell him about any of these things, including a process which you had asked about. If we would ask that if they don't have give the inspector the proper notice so that he can verify whatever circumstance, if one should arise, that we address that appropriately at the next hearing as well. Hopefully they will be in compliance.
And let me just give you a word of caution. This is not an order. But if you run into hiccups along the way that you think ought to give you some additional time, I better hear from our inspector that you've already broached it with him and told him about it. Because if I'm just going to hear it for the first time at the next meeting, I'm not going to pay any attention to it. Okay? So you tell me you've had things you've had to do. You're telling me there are things that perhaps happen outside the purview of our inspector. You need to let the inspector know what's going on, because the next time you start peppering me with a bunch of things that interfered with your ability to do it, and he's sitting there giving me his goofy look because he doesn't know what you're talking about, then I'm not even going to listen to it. 10-4?
Understood.
All right, y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
And I didn't mean to insult you about the goofy look. I meant the uninformed, not being shared with look.
I was okay with that.
Okay. Case 28, Barbara and James Chester Jones.
The respondent was first notified back in August of 2023. Since last hearing, I've been in contact with the redevelopment department. There have been some minor issues that they've had to address. They are still planning on purchasing this property. I'd like to recommend that we amend to the January cutoff.
Is this place any kind of a hazard?
No, it is secured.
Okay. All right. Okay, then, based upon our inspector's recommendation, I'm going to amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until January 2, 20. January 2, 2025. Yeah, see, you gave me a 2025 meeting, but they all say 24. So are the days right? Okay. January 2, 2025, or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Did I say that right? Okay, good. Case 29, Destiny L. Bonner. Anyone here for the respondent?
The respondent was first notified on March 20.
Have somebody.
Oh.
Other side.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
State your name. Destiny Bonner. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Respondent was first notified on March 25th, 2024. Since the last hearing on July 9th, 2024, I have been in contact with Ms. Bonner. There has been progress. She still has the exterior painting that needs to be done. I'd like to amend to the next cutoff.
Okay, the inspector seems to think you ought to be able to wrap this up by October 2. What say you?
I say that I can't. As far as like most everything is done, but the painting is going to cost me a very hefty amount of money if I can't just spot cleanup, which I was informed by Mr. Garcia that might not work because my house was painted in 2019 before I bought it. So the pink, the whole thing of making it all match. So as far as the painting of the overall house at the tune of $6,000, I just don't have that money right now. But as fixing everything else I'm working on, I have become well versed in the world of decorative foam exterior now, just to find out that the mold that was used on my home is no longer in use. So I would have to redo my entire thing or get someone who is a stucco plaster person to fix it, which I did attempt to do, paid a deposit to have someone come out, and he's no longer answering my calls. So I need more time.
Do what?
To get my house.
Work yourself or to come up?
Well,
with
I've been doing some of the stuff, the little stuff myself, as far as fixing the foam that I could. But I need at least another month or two to try to figure out. That one corner is the bane of my existence, as far as fixing that thing. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. But I just don't have the funds right now to spend money to get the whole house repainted. I even looked into a loan, and I've actually gone to the city for help. They did just come out with a new program, which I got in the mail right here. My house did flood during Ian, and I spent my entire savings plus everything else. I don't have it.
All right, what is yet to be done to come into compliance?
Really, what's remaining is painting the house and fixing that one foam sill that she was written up for. She has gone ahead. All the construction vehicles that were on site have been removed. There was a big storage container, you stored, that she's had, a pod that she's had removed. She's been maintaining the landscaping. And most all the storage is gone. There's still a little, as you saw in the one picture, just a little bit of trash in the back, but that's not a major issue. The big issue is getting the house painted.
Painting the house, are those like appearance standards?
Yes.
And what's the criteria for when one does or does not meet an appearance standard?
Well, it needs to be painted a uniform color. When we have faded, chipped, as you can see, even if you close up on the thing to go over to the left a little bit, yeah, you can see how you've got different stains, different colors that our code requires that it's painted in a uniform color. And trying to get rid of the dirt and grime and so forth.
I did get it power washed.
Okay, slow down, Kemosabe. All right, I'm going to give the respondent until November 6, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. That's additional time for you either to come up with the financing or you figure out whatever alternatives are out there that enable you to satisfy whatever standards he's talking about. Now, whether that can be done without repainting the house, I don't know. With all due respect, that's your problem. But all I'm doing is giving you a little additional time, but apparently at some point you're going to have to come into compliance. How you come into compliance, I could care less as long as he's satisfied. So if you got to start exploring alternative methods of coming into compliance, it might be, outside the mainstream, go for it. I don't care. But my point is, but at the same time, if it doesn't satisfy the appearance standards, it's going to have to be painted, and that's just a problem we're going to have to deal with. So I'm going to give you additional time to figure it out. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 30, Covenant Community Development Corporation of Florida, LLC. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir. If you would please state your name.
Attorney Cedric Donaldson.
What's your first name?
Cedric Donaldson.
Okay, we're here for a progress report, the determination of a compliance date. Mr. Donaldson, what's the progress?
Okay, so actually, if we can kind of step back to the July hearing, if that's okay. So during the July hearing, you special magistrate, you required us to secure the building and to continue to have the building remain unoccupied. And then on the September hearing, we would have a progress report as to the roof. After that hearing, well, specifically during that hearing, one of the main issues was there was a AC unit that caused a hole in the building, which is that AC unit right there. That was a big issue that you want us to repair, as well as you see the little, I guess that's a wooden hole as well. You wanted us to repair the building, secure the building, and keep it unoccupied. So immediately after that hearing, we hired contractors, landscapers, to come and clean the site and get it up to code. They did. They came and they did everything that that was listed on, well, that you required us to do in the July hearing. I reached out to Inspector Jones on July 31st, and I personally called him as well to let him know where we were and what had been completed. I asked him, was it required that I come to the August hearing since everything was done? He informed me that there would be no need. He told me, just make sure when I come for the September hearing that we have a plan in place, that you don't want to just hear that we're working on it. And I told him, okay, that's fine. Then on August 1st, Inspector Jones emailed me and told me, well, his exact words was, he attached photos showing that grass needed to be cut and trimmed around the building, and that trash and debris from the canopy on the east side, which was a homeless person who camps out on the building. I told him, okay, we have a lawn company who comes out every month, and they're going to go and take care of the landscaping, and they'll pick up any trash and debris, which was done. I hadn't had any correspondence. I hadn't heard from Inspector Jones since August the 1st. On the IMS site, it says that an inspection was done on the 23rd. It said no work had been done on the building. Pickup, trash, and maintenance on landscaping had been taking place. And then on his inspection on the 31st, it said the building was secured. Trash, pickup, except for some kind of mats under the canopy on the east side, which again is that homeless person that comes and sleep there. Okay. I did not know that Inspector Jones had additional issues with the property, and I wasn't informed of the additional issues.
Do these photographs depict the property?
No. That is not current photos of the property now.
That is as of August 7th, 2024.
Those aren't recent pictures of the property.
If
I can finish. Once I was informed that there was an August hearing and that we were being fined now, I reached back out to Inspector Jones for clarification. I just want to know exactly what are the issues, because based on the hearing in July.
What makes you think you're being fined?
Well, I was told that we didn't pressure wash the building, we didn't paint the building, we didn't fix glass on the building. And again, when we spoke.
Hey, we're here for a progress report and a determination of compliance date.
I'm sorry, say it again.
We're here for a progress report and a determination of a compliance date. So the only relevance I can think of with regard to whatever Mr. Jones told you is the fact that you still had things to do that had not yet been done. So what progress has been made since we were here last? And the last question I'm going to ask is when everyone expects this property to be in compliance.
All of the work that we were informed to do has been done, and we provided pictures of those as well to Mr. Jones. The only thing that hadn't been done, which the court is aware of, is the roof. And that was what we were told that we would give a progress report on in this September hearing.
Okay, let me hear it.
All right, so far, what we have done is we've walked the property with several contractors. The property will likely need to be gutted out. The contractors told us we have to also hire architects and engineers because he cannot submit any type of permits until he gets the drawings from the architects and the engineers. So we have already contracted 2 different architects to tell us exactly what needs to be done in order for us to put a roof on there. Okay, the architects have already came out, and we're waiting for them to provide us their reports. Once they give us their reports, we will give it to the contractors, and then they can tell us exactly what needs to be done and what is the extent. The only thing for us is knowing exactly what is expected, because the August hearing, we weren't aware that we even needed to be here, and now we're being fined for things that you didn't require us to do in the July hearing.
Okay, the notice of violation, let me spend a little time on that, because have the exterior walls been repaired, Mr. Inspector?
They are presently, most of them have been repaired, yes.
So there's more to go.
Yeah. If I could explain something, at the July hearing that we had, this is what he's referencing to, you had told him that everything should be in compliance by the August 7th cutoff, or he would be returned for a fine, and also ordered a progress report for this month. In August, at the August hearing, because he had not completed the items that were listed on the violation, with the exception of the roof, he was fined $250 a day with a cap of $200. That's what he's been addressing. That has already taken place, and we had photos showing the status of the building at that time. Today, we were here for the second part of the order, a progress report on the roof. At this time, there's been no progress that I know of the roof. There's been no roof permit application submitted.
So we've already heard everything else and entered a fine.
Correct, sir.
The only thing we're here on now is the roof.
Correct.
Progress report on the roof, compliance date.
Correct.
Okay, what does the city propose for a compliance date for the roof?
Next cutoff, only because we have not had any contact on the roof and there's been no permit for the roof.
So you don't know what the status of the roof is?
I have no idea.
With regard to remediating the roof. For all you know, they may tell us it's done.
Correct. I have not had any contact.
All right, so the city is proposing that the roof be done by October 2, 2024. What say you to that?
Your Honor, there's no way we can have the roof.
Why?
Because, again, we need an architecture design to let us know what exactly we can do on the roof before the contractors can even submit permits. And I've emailed Mr. Jones.
Why don't you just hire a roofing contractor?
We've hired a full-blown contractor from the city of Daytona who does coastal work. I mean, we are going through all the processes in order to get this building done.
Seems to me that
it's not just a simple put a roof on.
Why isn't it?
Because this building was hit by a hurricane in 2022.
Lots of buildings are hit by hurricanes.
Right, but it's sat there since 2022. We acquired this building this year. Okay. And so since we've acquired it, we've been
into a mess.
Yeah, and we've been doing everything possible to fix it.
Okay. Now, I have yet to hear an actual explanation as to why we don't have a roofing contractor and why you're not telling me he's going to get started on such and such a date and this is how much time he's going to need to finish the job.
We have hired a roofing contractor.
Okay.
The roofing contractor met us at the site. He walked the site with us and he explained to us we need to have an architecture. He can't do anything until an architecture looks at the property and let us know exactly what needs to be done. That's what came out of
I'm not understanding any of that.
That's what he told us.
Okay, well, with all due respect, I don't care what he told you. It makes no sense to me.
Well,
I don't know why.
Because of
unless
the
you're going to sit there and say some of this is gonna have to be reworked. I mean, I just don't even understand it at all.
Well, that could be the case. That's why he probably explained to us we need the damage is so extensive. It's not just a few pieces of tile. There's holes in the building. There's buckets in the building to collect the rain from it from coming
Am I
down.
missing something? Is this roof something exotic?
I have not been up on the roof. This
The
was one of.
shingle roof?
No, I believe it would be a flat roof on the,
Well,
on the
it's
sanctuary.
not all. It's not an exotic roof or anything, but the damages is not just towards the shingle. It's going all the way through the
I
building.
understand. That's what roofers do.
Yeah, I mean,
They rip off the old stuff, they put down new plywood, they put down new sheeting, they tar it, they shingle it, okay, they move on. If they've got to replace trusses, they replace trusses. That's what roofers do. Okay, I'm looking at that hole. Yeah, that looks awful. I guarantee you, I'm pretty sure a roofer, and a roofer may very well need a contractor to come in and start rebuilding eaves and soffits. I don't know. And I'm not getting any information or any details out of you as far as what exactly needs to be done or why this is anything beyond the capacity of an ordinary garden variety roofer.
So you need us to present to you the contract to explain to you exactly what he told us and
I don't
and
want
all
anybody to
that.
explain anything to me. I want a roof.
Well, and that's the same thing we want. We don't want to delay this issue. I'm relaying to you what the contract explained to us, and we're going through the process that the contractor gave us. I can provide you additional information or more detailed information at the next hearing to explain exactly as it relates to the roof what we're doing and what needs to be done. But we have communicated with Mr. Jones. We're not delaying this issue. It doesn't benefit us to have the building just sit, not for what we do as a church.
Okay, Mr. Inspector, am I missing something with regard to this roof?
No, I mean, you ordered a progress report today for today's hearing, and I have not had any discussions in regards to this roof with the property owner and have no information except there's no application on file in the permit department to have the roof redone.
Okay. All right, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you one more month to figure it out.
That's not a problem.
And so I will continue the determination of I will continue to our October meeting, this matter for a progress report. And at that time, I'm going to set a compliance date with or without the input of a roofer who you might be inclined to talk to and or bring down here to explain to me how much time he needs and why. And I'm going to tell you, with all due respect, if all I hear at the next month's meeting is we need these people to explain this and we need these people to, I don't want to hear about it. I don't care. Get it done. Okay? All I want to hear about is, okay, we've got a roofing contractor and, this is what he needs to do. Maybe he's already even submitted a permit application. I don't know. And he tells us we're going to need 30, 60, 90 days to do the roof, and I'll hear it. If on the other hand, I hear anything less than that, I'm probably just going to go ahead and give them the fine that they're looking for already.
That's not a
So
problem.
in any event, I will continue this matter to the October meeting for another progress report, and at that time, we'll establish a compliance date. Good luck to you.
Can I ask a question,
Yeah.
Special Magistrate? We still don't have clarity as to violations other than the roof. Even now, we don't know what violations still exist other than the
Mine's
roof.
already been entered there, so if I were you, I'd be talking to the inspector to ask him what
I
specifically
have.
remains to be done.
That's what I'm saying. And there's emails, and Mr. Jones can say, we've been communicating with Mr. Jones, and I still do not know exactly what he wants us to do.
Mr. Vikelja, prior to the gentleman leaving, we can set up a time to meet him on site.
There you go.
And then also with the fines, how do we address the
We're
fines?
not addressing the fine until it's in compliance.
Okay.
Fine continues to run until the work is done. And then you can come and explain to me why I should consider whatever relief you may be asking for. But until that work's done, we're not even talking about the fine. Fine continues to run.
Okay. And I will, I guess, meet with you after this. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more case. It's number 31. I think that's right, yes. Daytona Beach Resort LLC and Daytona Beach Resort and Conference Center Condominium Association Incorporated. Do you have anybody appearing by Zoom? Okay, here for the imposition of a fine. I got a whole stack of stuff here. Okay, I have this matter here for the imposition of a fine. So what say the city? Have you announced your presence?
I have not. Good morning. Leanne Wagner for the Condominium Association.
Okay, Mr. Inspector?
All right, since the last hearing, we've had contact in progress, and the work has been completed, and the engineer has submitted his report, and we're just waiting on the permit office to go ahead and finalize. So I would like to amend to the next cutoff to allow that to happen.
And this is specific as to the balcony.
Yes, just the balcony work and nothing else.
Counselor?
We agree. Next cutoff would be fine. We hope that everything will be closed out by then and the permit will be closed.
Very good. All right. Based upon the consensus of the parties, I will amend our current order of noncompliance to allow the respondent until October 2, 2024 to come into compliance or be returned to the special magistrate for consideration of a fine of up to $1,000 per day thereafter. Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts. All right, lien review number 1, 811 Tomoka Road, LLC. Anyone here for the respondent? Okay, first off, has there been any discussions between yourself and the city regarding any resolution of this?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Okay, and I assume nothing was resolved?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Counselor, why don't you explain your hardship and why I should reconsider the fine that we imposed on March?
Your Honor, the initial complaint to the notice of violation, to the order of noncompliance, to the order imposing fine were all based on the mistaken premise that a building permit was necessary. We know that that was a mistake because an affidavit of compliance was issued on August 5th, 2024 without a building permit ever being issued. So taking the simplicity of that into context, the violation never existed. The property was never out of compliance. A building permit was never required.
Okay, what say the city?
This case was a complaint, well, it was placed in compliance, but this case was opened by the building department after their review of the Volusia County property appraiser's site, and the property was listed as a vacant residential and was taxed as a vacant residential parcel.
Okay, hold it. Is this the property with all kinds of structures all over it?
Yeah, it was, it started out, it really was the one that had a
And there's
storage
some kind of
shed.
shack off to the side, close to the street that now people are living in.
Correct. And
Is that the shack to the left?
that is the shack to the left.
Okay, and is that the one that you're telling me no building permit was needed for?
The city staff has determined that no building permit is necessary
For that building?
for any structure on that property.
If you go to, keep going on the slides. It was back on July 29th, Mark Boyce, who is the deputy building official, determined that the renovations were not required, that for the sales were just cosmetic and do not require a permit, based on Mark Boyce's inspection of the property and the updated property appraiser's records, that they now considered it a legal non-conforming use. They went and revised with the property appraiser the value of the property, went and paid the taxes for 22 and 23, and because they now brought the property current to the appraiser's office and paid the balance due, they considered it now a legal non-conforming use. It was not in compliance until they got worked with the property appraiser's office, got paid the back taxes for the 2 years that they stated had been paid but weren't. As you can see from this slide, if you go back a couple slides, please. This is when the appraised value was taxed as a vacant parcel. That was for the years 22 and 23. And then if you continue, they now have gone, next slide. If you enlarge that, if you would, Joe, they've now gone ahead and paid the taxes that were due and brought it current. This is one of the, during the hearing that we had originally, that even Mr. Meadows stated that he had been paying taxes on this property for the last 4 years when you questioned him, but in reality they had not been paying taxes, and the building department brought it into compliance or considered it closed when the property appraiser site was updated and the tax rolls taken care of. The fine, staff is recommending we reduce the fine to $6,274 due to it being in compliance with our violation on July 29th, when the deputy building official agreed that it was a legal non-conforming use.
Yeah, I don't have the original notice of violation. What was he originally cited for?
He was originally cited for
outside storage container.
That was taken care of.
Converting an unfinished carport and utility shed into a residential living unit.
That was what
without a building permit.
Correct.
And the determination that was ultimately made was that no permit was required.
Correct, Your Honor.
Damaged fencing.
Yeah, it was, building department stated that now that they had done an inspection and that the property appraiser's office is now considering it a residential use, and the back taxes were paid for those past 2 years of the ownership, they considered that they were considered it in compliance.
Well, the ultimate determination was that it was a legal non-conforming use for which no permit was required. Is that the bottom line?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the bottom line?
Well, that is what they are now stating, now that the Volusia County Property Appraiser site has agreed to it being a residential unit and being paid, and the back taxes being paid.
So what did you have to do to get the property appraiser's office to recognize it's a legal non-conforming use? Pay back taxes?
No, Your Honor. All that was determined by, I believe it was the project manager, said that a building permit was never necessary. Never necessary.
Because?
Because
Because it was a legal, non-conforming use.
It was
And the hitch in the giddy app was
a mistaken
should have
belief.
been paying property taxes all along, even though it was illegal, even though it was a non-conforming use.
They had been paying, Your Honor, if I may, I believe the property taxes had been paid. It hadn't been paid on the reassessed value as a single-family residential unit. But taxes had been paid. They were not in delinquents. But the violation is that a building permit was required, but ultimately a building permit was not.
Okay. All right, well, this is a little bit of a bizarre situation, but I understand the outcome. And I take it the permit was the holdup as far as the non-compliance?
Correct.
And given that the permit was the holdup in the non-compliance, and ultimately it was determined a permit was not legally required, then that aspect of the notice of violation was a nullity. And since that was the component of the violation that led to the non-compliance and the fine, then I'm vacating the fine and the lien in its entirety. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
Okay.
Am I excused?
Yes, sir. Lien review number 2, Real Land LLC, North Keach Street.
Sir, Mr. Vicalja, we'd like to pull that one.
Okay.
For them to come back later.
Do what now?
For them to be able to come back later.
All right. I will, okay, the city is withdrawing lien review number 2, so with that, I will consider it withdrawn without prejudice to it being resurrected at a later date. We've already done number 3. We've already done number 4. Do we have any miscellaneous business to be brought before the special magistrate? If not, we're adjourned.